She got married in the heart of Bangkok, but on the very first night, her husband vanished without a trace. No note, no message, just a locked bathroom door and a whisper calling her name. What she discovered next uncovered a secret buried since her birth, a past her family never wanted her to remember. Why did her husband disappear? Who was the little girl with one red shoe? And why was she told to run before it was too late? If you want to know the shocking truth behind her forgotten identity and the ancient secret she's forced to confront, then watch this story till the very end. Collision, and if you want more mysterious and emotionally powerful stories like this, don't forget to subscribe Collision. And drop your thoughts or story ideas in the comments below. Your next favorite story might begin with just one word: run. I still remember the sound of the front door closing. It wasn't loud. It wasn't rushed. It was final, like someone leaving forever. The air in our small Bangkok apartment felt heavier than the silk veil I had just taken off. My hands, still trembling from the hours of ceremonies, reached for the phone. No messages. No calls. We were married just 6 hours ago. 6 hours. And he was gone. His suit jacket still hung neatly over the chair. His cologne still lingered in the air. His vows, still echoing in my mind. I will never leave you. He said it, right there under the jasmine garlands and lantern light, right in front of my mother, my father, the monks, and the friends who traveled across provinces to see me smile. I didn't even change out of my wedding dress. I sat on the edge of the bed, the one we were supposed to share. He left behind his phone, but not his secrets. I opened it. No password, no hesitation, just unlocked truth. A message thread.
Pinned.
Named. Do not open here. But I did. A woman's name. An address in Chiang Mai. Last message. You know where to find me. When it's done. When what's done? Was I the done? Was the wedding just an act? The walls spun around me. Pictures from our ceremony framed on the dresser. His smile, so real, so warm. But now, it felt rehearsed. I texted him. No reply. I called his mother. She didn't sound surprised. Only said, he has his reasons. Don't chase him. What reasons? What could possibly make a man marry someone and vanish before the sheets even wrinkle? That night, I walked through the city, barefoot. My makeup smeared with tears. My dress dragging through dust. No destination. Just questions. Had he been forced? Was this about money? Family secrets? A second life? At dawn, I returned home. The apartment silent. But the bathroom door was closed.
Locked.
Light flickering underneath. Water running. I hadn't turned it on. And then I heard it. A whisper. Not his. A woman's voice.
Soft. Too soft to understand.
But it said my name. My full name. A name I hadn't told anyone in years. My knees buckled as I pressed my ear to the door. The voice stopped. Silence. Except for the slow, rhythmic drip of the faucet. I knocked.
Once. Twice.
No answer. My fingers trembled on the doorknob.
Locked.
But I had the spare key, hidden behind the photo frame on the hallway shelf. The one with us at the floating market in Amphoe. I slid the key in.
Turned.
Opened the door. Empty. Steam hung in the air. The mirror fogged over. But on the glass, written in clear streaks, letters drawn with a finger, was a single word. Run. I stumbled back. The tiles icy beneath my bare feet. The shower curtain fluttered. I pulled it aside. Nothing. But beneath the sink, tucked between towels, was an envelope. My name again. My full name, written in his handwriting. Inside, a photograph.
Old. Of me.
But not recent. From years ago. I was in Chiang Rai. In uniform. Smiling. Taken at a school I had taught at briefly. The second photo. Him. But not alone. With the same woman from the messages. Smiling. Holding hands. In front of the same school. I stared at it. My mind spinning. He had been there. Years ago. Long before we met. Or so I thought. Why had he never mentioned it? Why hide this?
The doorbell rang.
3 short chimes.
Precise.
Unfamiliar. I moved slowly to the door, looked through the peephole. A man in a dark green suit, holding a small box. No delivery logo. No smile. Just eyes that scanned the hallway. And then, he spoke. Through the door. Miss Praney, he gave you something that doesn't belong to you. He shouldn't have known my name, or where I lived, or that he was gone. But somehow, he knew everything. And I hadn't even opened the box yet. My hands tightened on the doorknob. I didn't breathe, didn't move, just listened. Footsteps behind the door. His shoes shifting against the hallway tiles. Silence. Then another knock. Softer this time. More deliberate. I don't want to hurt you, the man said. His voice like gravel soaked in oil. But if you open that box, you'll put more than yourself in danger. My heart slammed in my chest. The box. Still on the bathroom counter. What could be inside? Why did it matter? What was he protecting? Or hiding? The man stayed quiet. I waited. 1 minute. Then 2. I peeked again. The hallway was empty. I locked every bolt on the door, pulled down the shades, and walked, barefoot and shaking, back into the bathroom. The envelope still on the counter. The box beside it. Small. Black. Unmarked. I picked it up. No weight. No sound.
Just cold in my hands.
I opened the lid. Inside, a single flash drive, wrapped in red thread, and underneath it, a folded piece of notebook paper, torn at the edges, written in his handwriting. If you're reading this, they already know. I sank to the floor, flash drive in one hand, note in the other.
Who were they?
Why did he leave it with me? And why did I feel like someone was still watching me, even with the curtains drawn and the door locked? The phone buzzed. A new message. From a number I didn't recognize. Play the video. And don't trust anyone, especially my mother. My throat went dry. His mother. The woman who had told me not to chase him. The woman who didn't seem surprised when I said he was gone. I stared at the message again, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. But I didn't reply. Not yet. I plugged the flash drive into my old laptop, the one I hadn't used since university. The fan wheezed to life. The screen flickered. A single file appeared. No title, just a timestamp. 1 day before our wedding. I clicked. At first only static. Then shaky footage. Dark room.
Candlelight.
A table. A man. Him. His face pale. Eyes wild like he hadn't slept in days. He looked straight into the camera. And spoke. Praney, if you're watching this, I'm already gone. Not dead, but far from you. And it's the only way to keep you safe. I froze. My pulse roaring in my ears. There's so much I didn't tell you. About who I am. About where I've been. And about your past, too. My past? He swallowed hard. You were never supposed to be part of this. But the moment I saw you in Chiang Rai, I knew they'd come for you. Because you. The screen glitched. His voice distorted. Not your fault. It was her. She took everything. And now she wants it back. The screen blinked. Cut to black. Then, another face. His mother. Sitting in a temple. Backlit by candles. Whispering to a monk. Her hands clasped. But her eyes.
Cold.
She must never remember who she was, she said. The girl from the orphanage. She has no idea what she carries. The video ended. I couldn't move.
Couldn't think.
My childhood. The one I barely remembered. The gaps in memory. The flashes of temples. Fire. Running in the rain. Had she been there?
Was I?
The girl from that orphanage? The laptop crashed. Blue screen. The lights flickered. And then my phone buzzed again. They're close. You have 1 hour to get out. Don't go back to your parents. They were never your parents. The phone slipped from my fingers and hit the floor. My breath caught in my throat. My parents, not my parents? I backed away from the laptop. Its screen now frozen in a lifeless blue haze. The room seemed to shrink around me. Walls closing in, air thick with memories I couldn't remember. I clutched the flash drive like it was the last piece of truth I had. 1 hour. To leave. But where could I go? My instinct said call my mother. But the message echoed louder in my head. Don't trust anyone. The silence in the apartment turned sharp, as if it could cut through my skin. Then, a faint knock. Not at the door. At the window. 3rd floor. No balcony. I turned slowly. The curtain barely moved. But the knock came again. Deliberate.
Slow.
I crept forward. Carefully pulled the curtain back. No one. But something taped to the glass. A photo.
Of me.
As a child. Wearing a white uniform. Standing next to a woman I didn't recognize. But behind us, the same temple from the video. Same carvings. Same statues. And on the back of the photo, written in red ink, return what she hid, or more will disappear. A gust of wind slammed the window shut. I jumped, heart pounding in my ears. I grabbed a small backpack, shoved in the flash drive, the note, the photo, a change of clothes, my passport. I had to move, had to get answers, had to remember what they'd erased. I stepped out into the hallway, empty,
Dim.
except for a single shoe, a child's shoe, placed neatly in front of my door, as if someone knew I'd be leaving, and wanted me to know I wasn't leaving alone. My hand hovered over the small shoe.
Worn.
Faded red. The kind I hadn't seen since I was maybe 5. I crouched down, touched it, and a memory hit me, not a clear one, more like a flicker in a dream.
Rain.
A dirt path. Me running.
Crying.
Holding someone's hand. A little girl? Or was it me looking at someone else? The hallway light flickered. A low buzzing. Then, footsteps. Not above. Not below. Inside. My building. Someone was on my floor. I grabbed the shoe, tucked it into my bag, and took the stairs. 3 floors down. Quiet. Until I reached the ground. The lobby light was out. Only the red glow of a vending machine lit the room. A man stood near the exit. Dark green suit. The same one. I froze. He hadn't seen me.
Yet.
I ducked behind the mailboxes. My heart beating like it might explode. Then, a vibration. My phone. New message. No name. Just 4 words. Don't use the stairs. I looked up. Security camera in the corner. Its little green light blinking.
Someone was watching me.
But not to hurt me.
To help me.
I turned. Found the laundry chute. Barely wide enough. But I didn't think. Didn't wait. I pushed the door open, stuffed my bag in first, and slid in after it. Cold. Metal walls scraping against my arms. The smell of soap and rust. Then, a thud. I hit the bottom. Hard. I was in the basement laundry room. Lights flickering. Machines humming. And standing there, in the corner, was an old monk. Eyes closed. Chanting softly. He opened them. And looked right at me. You were never supposed to leave the temple, he said. Not until the memory returned. I opened my mouth to speak, but he raised his hand. They'll take you to the hill, he whispered, where it all began, and where she still waits, for what you carry. My chest tightened. What do I carry? I asked. The monk stepped forward, pulled something from his robe. A folded paper.
Old. Worn.
A birth record.
In Thai.
And English. Name, Preni Misuk. Mother, unlisted. Father, unknown. Location of birth, Wat Si Bunruang, Temple Hill, Chiang Mai Province. And then, under special notes, typed in faded ink. Do not separate. Not until the girl forgets everything. But I hadn't forgotten. Not completely. And now, someone else remembered too. The monk's eyes didn't leave mine. I clutched the paper, my fingers trembling. What does this mean? I whispered. What was I supposed to forget? He exhaled slowly, like he'd been holding that breath for decades. You were chosen, he said, before you even had a name. I shook my head. This doesn't make sense. Why me? Chosen for what? He stepped closer. There are things hidden in this land. Temples buried beneath jungle. Texts older than memory. Rituals that demand more than belief. They demand blood. The laundry room lights flickered once. Twice. Then went out. Pitch black. But the monk's voice remained. You were taken from Temple Hill as a baby. Your presence disrupted balance. She, your mother, defied the elders. She wanted to protect you. But they found her. A loud clang from above. Something heavy dropping down the chute. I backed into the wall. Fumbling for my phone light. The monk didn't move. His voice now urgent. You must return to where it began. Everything has been set in motion. The one who left you. He was never meant to marry you. He was meant to deliver you. I stared at him, feeling my entire life collapsing in on itself. My wedding. The lies. The flash drive. The photos. The whispers in the apartment. All part of something ancient. Something I had never chosen, but had always been part of. The monk placed a cold hand on my shoulder.
Go now.
Follow the girl. The one in the red shoes. I gasped. The child's shoe. The one outside my door. He turned his head slightly, toward the darkened doorway that led to the alley. And there, in the faint glow of the exit sign, stood a small figure. A girl. No older than 5. Wearing one red shoe. She stared at me with eyes I somehow recognized. Eyes like mine. And without a word, she turned and began to walk into the night. I followed, not knowing where she would lead me, only that whatever waited at the end of this path had been waiting for a very
long time.
The alley swallowed us whole.
Narrow. Wet.
Walls lined with vines and faded spirit house offerings. The girl didn't look back. Not once. Barefoot on concrete, her one red shoe tapping softly with each step. She moved like a memory. Half real, half shadow. I followed without question. Without words. Each turn she took twisted deeper into Bangkok's hidden veins. Past abandoned shopfronts. Past flickering neon cannon stands long closed. Past an alley dog that whimpered and backed away when it saw her. We stopped at a rusted gate, chained but loosely. She reached up, not with force, but with familiarity. The chain slipped free. She stepped inside. I followed. A courtyard. Overgrown. Moonlight catching fragments of broken tile. Mosaic dragons coiled on the walls. Their eyes faded but still watching. In the center, a shrine. Old. Unkept. But powerful. Something in my chest stirred, like a key turning in a lock that had rusted shut. The girl approached the shrine, laid her hand on its base. Whispers filled the air, soft at first, then building. Dozens of voices, layered,
Echoing.
My head spun. I dropped to my knees, covered my ears.
But the voices were inside me.
Calling a name, not Preeni, something older, something that vibrated in my bones. Sa Quan. I gasped. That name. It unlocked something. The forest. The temple on the hill. Running with the girl in red shoes. My sister. We were separated. By fire.
By force.
By the will of those who feared what we carried. My vision blurred. When it cleared, the girl was gone. Only the red shoe remained, placed neatly on the shrine. And next to it, a folded note. My handwriting. But I had never written it. You promised you'd come back. Now, it's your turn to bring her home. Behind me, footsteps.
Slow.
Heavy. Deliberate. I turned, and standing beneath the moonlight was a woman in white, her face hidden by a traditional Sabai veil. But I knew, even without seeing, this wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a ghost. This was the one who had started it all. And she whispered, without lifting the veil, "You are the key. And they're already coming for the door." My breath caught in my throat. The woman in white stepped closer, each movement slow, deliberate, like time itself was bending around her. The veil shimmered in the moonlight. I could smell the faint scent of dope kampa. frangipani, sweet and soft. A scent from my childhood. From the Temple Hill, I thought I had forgotten. You were never supposed to forget, she said. Her voice, like my mother's, like mine, like someone I had carried in dreams but never met. I took a step forward. The shrine between us. The red shoe resting like a symbol on an altar. Quiet and waiting. I don't understand, I whispered. Why me? Why now? The woman lifted her hand, slowly, and pulled back the veil. And I saw her face. It was my face. Older.
Worn.
Beautiful. Her eyes held years. Centuries, maybe. Of sorrow. Of duty. Of love. You are my daughter, she said. The firstborn. Carried in hiding. Hidden so they could not use you. Tears welled in my eyes. The memories surged like a broken dam. Running through forest paths. Temple bells echoing.
Fire.
Screaming. Two girls pulled apart. A promise whispered in smoke. Asterisk, I'll come back for you. Asterisk, I left you, she continued. Not to abandon you, but to give you a life they couldn't find. I thought time would bury what we were, but it only made them hungrier. Behind her, the shadows stirred. Figures cloaked in black and gold. Eyes glowing with the same light as the shrine. They want the relic, she said. The one sealed inside you since the day you were born. You carry it in your blood, in your voice, in your name. I stepped back. The wind picked up, whipping leaves through the courtyard. What do? I asked. My voice cracked. Tired. Ready. She held out her hand. Come with me. To Temple Hill. To the place they took you from. We'll finish what they started. And free your sister. The red shoe pulsed. A faint glow. A heartbeat. And in that moment, everything made sense. The wedding. The disappearance. The visions. The name I had buried. I took her hand, and the world around us began to shift. The dragons on the wall opened their stone mouths. The shrine lit from within, and the shadows behind her knelt, not in fear, but in reverence. We were going home.
To the mountain.
To the temple. To the place where gods slept, and girls once played under the Bodhi trees. Before they were torn apart, the wind whispered the name again.
Saw Quan.
I didn't run. I didn't look back. I stepped forward, just as the ground beneath us began to open. The earth beneath us trembled, not in chaos, but like something ancient waking from a long, deep sleep. Stone cracked beneath our feet as the shrine opened, its golden core glowing from within. And there, resting at the heart of it all, was the second red shoe. Small, dusty, untouched by time. My mother, the woman who had lived in shadows to protect me, knelt beside it. She whispered a prayer, then turned to me with tears in her eyes. It's hers, she said. She never stopped waiting. I knelt beside her, took the shoe into my hands, and in that instant,
light,
blinding,
pure.
Memories flooded in. My sister's laughter. Our secret hiding place beneath the tamarind tree. The day we were pulled apart. The day she screamed my name as flames rose around the temple. And her voice, now, echoed through the courtyard. Not from the past. From the present. I knew you'd come back. She stood behind us. No longer a ghost. Not a vision.
Whole.
Her little hands reached out, and I placed the red shoe on her foot. She smiled. And in that smile, all the broken pieces of our lives began to mend. The shadows that had haunted us faded into light. The dragons on the walls closed their mouths. And the shrine, once a prison of secrets, became a beacon of truth. My mother embraced us both. The temple bells rang out across the city. A sound so soft and ancient, even Bangkok seemed to pause and listen. We walked out of the courtyard together. 3 of us. No longer hiding. No longer running. The night air was still. The stars above the city bright, as if they, too, remembered. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't wondering who I was. I knew. I was a daughter, a sister, a keeper of something sacred, not cursed, but chosen. And I was finally home.